That's where Elaine Tack is standing by, holding on, although, isn't that funny, Elaine, behind you, it looks as calm as Bermuda.
Yes, Bill, it is very calm out here right now, and since the weather and the water have calmed down, police patrols are out here. They are checking the lines of the boats to make sure no more boats float away. All in all, 37 boats drifted away from their moorings. 13 of those sank, and the harbor master estimates hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damage have been done out here today. A lot of people I talked to who own boats only hope that insurance will cover their losses. 45-mile-per-hour gusts whipped sails and sent waves crashing 6 feet high, ripping boats from their moorings, bashing them to pieces along the shoreline. The bows of some boats were the only parts visible as they slowly sank. Others were piled up one on top of each other along the lake's edge. And still other victims of the storm were barely visible, one under another. Boat owners came down to the harbor in their business suits, trying to see if their boats were still afloat.
This is bad. This is as bad as I've ever seen it. And we have a 30-foot sailboat, and it's just tossing around like it's a ping pong ball in a washing machine.
Yeah, put her on the tree.
Tying down boats any way they could, there was a wait while 2 police marine patrols towed one boat after another to safety.
We just take them one at a time. You know, if you feel like you're fighting a losing battle, you're going to lose.
You can't get them out.
What happens is the lines, they get dry rotted, and then something like this comes along and they just cut loose.
This is the problem, mooring lines that are snapping and fraying and breaking after a season's use. Police and park rangers say they have been working since late Monday night when the storm sank the first boat, and they say they will continue until all the boats are safe and the debris cleaned up. What you're looking at behind me are people, boat owners, who are going out on the lake, in the harbor. They are checking their boat lines to make sure that their boats are indeed secure in case this kicks up again tonight. Now, I should tell you, the official closing for the harbor was October 15th. That's when everybody had to have their boats out of here. They say it's just too bad that this came 5 days too soon for them. Back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Elaine.
Looked, for the last time you'll be able to see fireworks at the city of Chicago's famed Comiskey Park. Elaine Tack is live at Comiskey now. Let's go to Elaine to find out what's going on.
Well, as you can see behind me, Jim, we are still being treated to a spectacular fireworks show. Spectacular indeed for all the people who have poured out of Comiskey Park for the last time tonight, enjoying the fireworks. They flipped the switch just a few minutes ago, so the lights behind me went out. And the person who turned out the lights for the last time, it now goes down in Chicago history. Hundreds of kilowatts of power are lighting Comiskey Park for the last time tonight. But the burning question for weeks has been, who will put the power out? Baseball players-to-be dreamed of flipping the switch. Fans sent thousands of postcards hoping they'd be the lucky one, the one who would go down in history as the person who put out Comiskey's lights for the last time. Just this past week, we got our answer. The winner was picked out of a hat, and the winner is Edith Alexovix. You're the lucky winner. Who's your favorite team?
Tonight it's the White Sox.
But Edith, you're a Cardinals fan from St. Louis. You've never even been to Comiskey Park before tonight. Why is it so important to you?
This night will never be repeated. It's one in a lifetime.
But Edith, your once-in-a-lifetime chance has Sox fans raving mad.
I don't think it's fair. Hey, Chicago fans should be able to. St. Louis, why don't they turn off their lights?
I don't like it.
Why? What's your feeling about it?
Well, I grew up right near the ballpark. It would have been nice to have seen someone who's been a Sox fan.
Terrible. Terrible.
Why?
Why? They just don't belong here.
She's not even a sports fan. She's never been to a baseball game in her life. So I think it stinks.
Should have been somebody from way back, some person from way back as a real Sox fan.
I'm very honored. I'm sorry it's not a person from Chicago, but I'm very honored.
That's right. Edith may not be a Chicagoan, but after tonight, she'll be a part of Chicago history. And this moment that you're watching right now will indeed also be a moment in Chicago history. The last fireworks show over the old Comiskey Park. The last night game for the White Sox here at the old Comiskey Park. And I have to tell you, I talked to a lot of White Sox fans in there tonight, and they say this isn't their last game. They're They're going to be here tomorrow for the last day game. I think you just saw the grand finale behind us, by the way.
Great timing.
Elaine, what about all the fans who want souvenirs? I mean, you've got to know that a lot of them are going to try and grab a piece of the old park as they're leaving tonight.
Well, they are not going to be able to grab a piece of the old park tonight or tomorrow. Police are going to be watching that very carefully, arresting anybody who's trying to take a piece of the old park. However, the White Sox say they're going to be auctioning off parts of Comiskey Park, bricks and chairs, at a date after the entire baseball season has completed, and they'll announce that date later. So you'll be able to buy pieces of Comiskey Park later in the future, and all the proceeds from that auction will go to charity.
That finale's still going out. Thanks a lot, Elaine. Comiskey Park going out in style.
Channel 2's Elaine Tack is live on the south side of Chicago with more. Elaine?
Well, Lester, I am inside the abandoned building, and being inside here, it is hard to believe anyone could come in here, much less leave their children here. Over here, drug paraphernalia, some children's books. The floor is all broken up, glass all over the floor. It smells a horrible stench of urine. There's all kinds of things, as you can see, very dangerous. And here, inside here, if you follow me, is the closet where police found the children. This abandoned building with broken windows, no doors, and no heat is where police found 2-year-old Walter Newell and his 4-year-old sister Andrea, left alone together in this closet by their mother. 3 hours later, the children's mother, 19-year-old Delissa Newell, came back looking for them. Police were searching for the woman. Channel 2 cameraman Steve Lasker convinced her to turn herself in just before 8. The cold, dirty, hungry children were found at about 4 a.m. while police were searching this crack house for drug activity. They heard snoring coming from the closet. These are the clothes the children were wearing when police found them in this closet, covered with this blanket, huddled together.
The child was very scared, crying, basically probably wanted his mother.
The children were taken to the hospital, cleaned up and checked over. Their grandmother, Beverly Sidney, now has temporary custody of the two. Beverly says her daughter won't tell her why she abandoned the children.
I'm worried about it, I really am. I am.
What are you worried that might happen to her?
I'm worried that they might give us some time and that they might take her kids. Might not let me have them, I don't know.
Now it is up to the courts to decide the fate of these children and the mother who abandoned them. Tonight, Delissa Newell is behind bars. She faces 2 felony counts of child abandonment. Now, that could carry a sentence of 1 to 3 years, or the possibility that she would not have to go to jail at all, that she would just be out on probation. So it's up to the court to decide that right now. Lester Adele?
Elaine, thank you.
About 250 gays and lesbians marched through the streets of Belmont and Broadway starting at 8 tonight. The reason? To send a message to the Chicago community that they are tired of verbal and physical violence directed against gays. They call it gay bashing.
It's not a nice feeling to walk down the street and be afraid. Nobody should have to do that, not in a city like ours.
We're not safe on the streets to be who we are, express ourselves without coming under criticism and a lot of times violence.
But it wasn't just gays coming out in support.
As a matter of fact, I'm not gay, but I do believe that it's the democratic right of anybody to be able to walk down the street without being attacked for one's perceived sexual orientation.
Police were out in full force to prevent any kind of violence, but gays say this kind of protection is rare.
They say a lot, they make a lot of statements like they will, but it never gets enforced.
But police take issue with gay activists, saying they've been trained to deal with gay bashing and they think they're doing a good job of dealing with violent incidents. Onlookers had mixed reactions.
They got a right to feel how they want to feel, but I don't like faggots.
You have a right to do that.
Gay activists say they are planning more of these kind of parades and rallies to make Chicagoans more sensitive and aware of gay rights. Elaine Tack, Channel 2 News.
As Channel 2's Elaine Tack reports, singers from all over the area combined their talents to create the voices of winter.
Merry Christmas!
These Chicago singers are making music, hoping their song will help the homeless.
What is Christmas?
Like everyone here, Shelley Woods is volunteering her time. For Shelley, the music hits home. She spent 2 years of her life living on Chicago's streets.
It was devastating, and it was like in the dead of the winter, the first 3 months of the year, and we slept in my car.
Give us your voice to sing our song.
When Shelley and her 2 children were homeless more than 15 years ago, there was little help. That's the reason Chicago's Coalition for the Homeless was founded. This music is being made for that group. This man is one of Chicago's estimated 49,000 homeless who will be helped by the Coalition for the Homeless once they begin getting profits from the tape.
proceeds are going to go to organize homeless people to act and speak on their own behalf, to help change legislation, to produce more money for resources for homeless people, and to protect their rights.
For instance, right now, the coalition is battling the city to let the homeless sleep at O'Hare.
Here we go.
Merry Christmas!
And there's another message here that has nothing to do with political battles or money.
Give us your voice.
I want to do this to let them know that you can make it, because I was at the bottom. I'm not at the top, but I'm making it.
Chicago's voices are calling out. What is Christmas without a home?
Elaine, Tack, Channel 2 News.
Merry Christmas!
The investigation into what Child Watch was doing began in 1988 when the U.S. Postal Inspector in Pasadena, California began getting complaints from people who had been sold distributorships throughout the nation for $1,500. Those people said they weren't getting what they paid for. To date, the investigation into mail fraud is to the tune of $600,000. But the Postal Inspector says it's very hard to pin any charges on Wyatt or Child Watch because they continue moving around the country. However, the Postal Inspector adds, and I quote here, "It's a useless service that no one will ever need." Elaine, Tack, Channel 2 News.
Merry Christmas!